What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the Fomo Factory. Smack that like button, smack that subscribe button if you are still in crypto. You are going to make it. I'm getting a lot of messages, or not, I'm not even getting messages, but I see it all around me. People saying, give up, crypto's over, it's dead. I want to congratulate you because all the 450 times that happened, it wasn't that, right? We are always in a good buying opportunity. At least it would be very weird if crypto is all of a sudden dead. But I read these messages all the time, and that's a bottom indicator. That's not me saying that the bottom is in, but at least when people say that crypto is dead and it's never coming back and it's too late and this time is different because we never had FTX fall before and this and that. It's always the type of thought that people have in a bear market. And if you have the persistence in a bear market like you have in a bull market, you're going to make a ton of money, right? Because that's what I'm basically want to say. I want to congratulate you because now is the time you want to be here. Now, not a lot of people are still here anymore. Let me show you a couple of charts that I find quite interesting when it comes to crypto. This is the total crypto market cap, right? So this is everything. In every bear market, we went not to, but near the lower band, this lower green band right here. As you can see in the 2012 bear market, 2011-12, we went near the band. We didn't touch it, but we went near it, right? The red line is the fair value, by the way, and we're always under the fair value in a bear market as well. This is the 2015, 16, 17 bear market. Sounds very long. It was long. At least the 2015 was the bear market, and here it was more sideways accumulation, but we still went up, right? Also, we went under the fair value, under the red line. For the people that don't know, the blue line is the price, the total market cap, so not just Bitcoin, all right? We went under the fair value, but we didn't get to the lower band. Then we went into the 2018-19 bear market, and what happened right there? We went under the fair value, but we didn't get to the lower band. We went here for a long while, right? Now we are in the 2022 bear market, and what we see is basically the same. We are under the fair value, way under the fair value, but we are not at the lower band. So when I take a look at this is looking exactly the same as last bear markets, right? Also, when the bottom occurred, which was around here somewhere like that in this in this bear market, right? We were also not even touching the band, but we were way in it for a long while, way under the fair value, right? And we stayed below the fair value, definitely. Although the market cap moved up from here to here is already a 2x. That's because this band is moving up, of course. Now, what's also interesting, so that's just saying like, okay, this bear market looks exactly the same as all the other bear markets, right? What if you bought in these other bear markets? You would have made money. You would have made money. Simple, easy, right? Now, what's also funny, not in everyone, but in almost every cycle, we went, when it comes to the bull run, to the upper band, right? Here we touched the upper band, no problem. Here in this bull market, we almost touched the upper band. In this bull market, 2018, we touched the upper band. The only time it didn't happen was in 2020, right? While a lot of things were kind of suppressed. Right, so I think we could have got a lot more out of this bear market. And if the war wasn't in play already, if COVID wasn't in play, then we could have got a lot more out of this bull market. I said bear market, but bull market, right? Usually we go to the upper band. Now, in my opinion, like I said earlier, Bitcoin will probably, have its peak somewhere end of 2025 if we have to believe the cycles. And at the end of 2025, the upper band is sitting at $46 trillion. $46 trillion, okay? If you put some things in perspective, well, now let's go back, by the way, first. So $46 trillion. Where we are right now is 800 billion. Right, 800 billion. So 46 divided by 8, to put it like this, that's a 57. You have to think like, you know, it's a 57x for the crypto market on, you know, average. That's what it could do. Now, that's knowing that a lot of projects we have right now will still die. Not every project will survive, but not every project will do a 57x as well, right? Some projects will do a 1000x. Some projects will do a 3x. I don't know, right? But on average, if you invest it right, then this is where we, you know, according to this, could end up, right? The chances are 1, 2, 3 against 1. That's basically what it is right now, right? It all depends on the macro. Is the money printer going to, you know, turn back on or not before the end of 2025? Well, I think it will, but we don't know. Nobody knows, right? But that's kind of the average where we could get. So that's around a 55x. Now, if we look at Bitcoin, for example, right now, let me check out Bitcoin. Bitcoin is sitting at, let's round it up, $17,000, right? 17, 1, 2, 3. If we do that times 50, we will end up at $850,000. Now, I made some videos because, you know, if the market on average does a 55x, for example, well, I said 50 right here, but it was actually 57. So this is what we end up with. But if the market does a 57x, right, the biggest markets, the biggest assets like Bitcoin, they probably move a lot less than that, right? Because guess what? More money, more liquidity, more money needs to be put in to move the price that much, right? So Bitcoin might not end up at $900,000. Maybe we will just get to $200,000 in the next bull run, right? But that compensates for a lot of altcoins as well, right? So once you start investing, or maybe you already did, for the next bull run, keep this in consideration, right? I will always put some money in Bitcoin. I always hear people say as well, like, Bitcoin doesn't have good returns and you can better put it into more speculative projects. It depends on your risk tolerance, to be really honest. I mean, yeah, you can put it all in risky altcoins, but then there's a bigger chance you lose your money. And a lot of people get it confused that Bitcoin is boring and Bitcoin doesn't move that much and Bitcoin is not nice to hold because it just doesn't give you enough returns. Bro, let me tell you, that's straight up bullshit. Sorry, but that's straight up bullshit, right? If we look, for example, this cycle right here, and I'm not going to measure it exactly, but I want to measure it a little bit for you so you know a little bit about what it could do. Bitcoin was somewhere around, well, let's take it from here. This was a cycle, give or take. Let's take this cycle right here, right? So the low of this cycle was $65. So if we put it at around $65 up to here, Bitcoin did a 17x. All right, that's decent. Right, then it went from $165, so 165 give or take, to 20k. Bitcoin did 120x, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Then Bitcoin did around it was $3,300 at the lowest, give or take, which was here, to around 70k, which was a 20x. Well, this more than 20x, 21x, right? And I even skipped the cycle right here. So if you look at the Bitcoin cycles, the worst cycle it did so far was a 17, well, more than an 18x, by the way. So when you put your money now into Bitcoin, you are being as safe as you can when it comes to crypto. And the worst that ever happened was, you know, putting your money 18x, right? So if you have $10,000 and you just put it in Bitcoin, you're probably pretty safe and you can make $180,000 out of it. Worst case scenario so far, right? Of course, next cycle could be worse, but I don't know why. It's not that people talk about diminishing returns like, yeah, but every cycle it moves less. Well, not from what I see. I mean, this was one of the first cycles, which was the worst. Then we had like the 2017 cycle, which was the best. And second best was our last cycle, right? And the cycle before that, well, wasn't really a complete cycle as Bitcoin then just you know, released. But yeah, we can take this, right? We can see this as a cycle, right? And Bitcoin here was sitting at around $2. Yeah, if we take a look at where the top was for that, so around $2 till here, another 120x, right? So and that's what I talked about before. If you take that average, it's around, I don't know, 60, 70x or so, right? I'm not saying Bitcoin will do a 70x or a 60x, but it, you know, kind of makes sense together with this 57x that we just saw, that it could likely end up with on average, right? Now, like I said, there will be assets that do less than that, right? And there will be assets that do way more than that, right? So if you feel like, and like I said, base your risk tolerance on that. If you feel like, man, I'm still young, I don't really care about my money, I have time, go a little riskier. If you're grown, if you have kids, if you are married, if you, I don't know, if you have a mortgage you need to pay, I don't know, but you still feel like I want to be in crypto and I want to make some gains on it, yeah, then move more towards Bitcoin, for example, because Bitcoin is not a boring asset. It's not a boring asset. I don't know where people are getting that from, to be honest. You know what's a boring asset? Gold. Go invest in gold, then experience something boring, right? Bitcoin is not boring. 60x on average. It's crazy, right? So that's that. Again, if we look at the current bear market, still we are well, you know, above where we were in the previous bear markets. So it could definitely be that this math is incorrect, right? Because 75x, yes, definitely correct. But this is not the bottom. The bottom will be, I don't know, 12K, still $700,000 Bitcoin, fine with me. The lower the entry we get, the more returns we can make. That's basically how it works, right? So don't stare blind at this area right here. Like, oh, should I pick the bottom? Should I pick the bottom? Like, if you invest for the long term and you don't really care about the bottom, bro, then it's a great way, a great time, in my opinion, to dollar cost. Bitcoin is not going beneath $10,000 from what I expect. And, you know, then investing at 16, 17, 14, just dollar cost all the way around there. And you will be fine. If you want to pick the bottom, fine. But study this stuff, you know, take a subscription right here, study all this stuff, because you cannot pick the bottom without knowing this, or you have to be very lucky. Now, something else when it comes to the bottom, supply and profit and loss. This is what we talked about before. How is this looking for now? Well, these are the moving averages. So this is the orange line is the supply that's in profit, and the red line is the supply of Bitcoin that's in loss currently, right? And in every bear market, at every bottom, so the blue line is the Bitcoin price. So where Bitcoin bottomed, these moving averages already crossed, right? That's a 7-day moving average. That happened in every bear. I don't even need to zoom in. That happened in every bear market. We also witnessed it here. It's like one big, how do you say that in English? Like Rasta. I don't know. If you go to the 14 days moving average, you also see every bottom of crypto, they already crossed, right? Here as well, we had the bottom, they already crossed. This bear market, we had the bottom, they already crossed. Now, this bear market, they already crossed, right? They already crossed. So could it be the bottom and then already cross? Could be. But if we take a look at the 30 days moving averages, now it's getting more exciting, because here it crossed and it crossed back, done, right? We had the bottom over here. The cross was before that. Cross was before the bottom. We had the bottom here. Cross was before the bottom. The cross here. Bottom, cross. Also cross before the bottom. Now we have the cross right here. So if the cross should happen before the bottom again, then it would make sense that this wasn't the bottom. That's 15.67K, right? That we should get a new bottom. Right, some food for digital food for thought. And one last thing, if we look at the 50-day moving averages, this barely crossed right here, but they crossed, right? And they crossed in every other bear market so far, except this one. They didn't cross. They are coming closer now, but they didn't cross yet. So according to this indicator, simply put, the bottom is not in, you know, unless this time is different. But in that case, you cannot look at any indicator or chart, and you should definitely stay away from that, because if your thesis is that every time is different or this time is different, then nothing makes sense, of course, right? But that's saying that the bottom is not in, just not in. Also, the price colored by risk. Every bottom, every bear market, we get this dark blue, right? We had it here, we had it here, we had it here. We are not having it over here, right? We have some dark blue, but it's going from dark to light, dark, light, a little dark, light again. So it's flirting with it, but it's definitely not saying to us like clear bottom or anything, right? It's just not it, right? If we remove everything but keep the blue, the deep blue, right? And maybe this one, you'll see bottom, 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 COVID crash, bottom. And we had occasionally like these indicators, but that was already when the price was 22K, right? It did get lower, right? So I don't know. Yeah, and there's so much more to check out, but that's basically what I'm looking at right now. But to answer the question again, like, is Bitcoin really dead this time? Ask yourself why. Why would it be dead now? What happened? What did I miss? Right? No, it's not that. It's not that. It's actually behaving exactly like every other bear market so far. And yes, of course, there are always a couple of things a little different. Like now we broke the 20-week moving average or 200-week moving average. Congratulations. Whatever. Is that the sign that Bitcoin is dead? No, it's not the sign that Bitcoin is dead, right? Bitcoin is not dead. That's just what I think you should know, because it is very clear that if you look at this trend line again, people said crypto was dead right here. We went all the way from $150 million market cap to 17, right? People thought it's not a good idea to buy. All right, if we look right here, it was sitting at 3 trillion, right? 3 trillion. Compare that with that 17 million. Absolutely ridiculous, right? This is nothing else than another opportunity that we get. We are lucky to be alive in these times. We do have a chance to make life-changing money, but the market is handing you the opportunities. You have to decide what you do with it. It doesn't come to you like, here's money, here you have some money. No, it doesn't work like that. So please be a little careful. Also, when it comes to Bitcoin, people are calling the bottom all the time. And it might be in right now. It might. I don't think so, but it might. But that's also what people called right here and right here and right here. And these people were all catching falling knives, right? Still, nothing has changed. We're not there yet. We're getting there. We're getting close, in my opinion, but we're not there yet. Like the video if you like the video. If you find it valuable, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.